5:17 local time, Northern Arabian Sea. The first flash appears so suddenly on the radar screen that it looks like a system glitch. Inside the Combat Information Center of an outer screen destroyer, the entire room freezes for half a second. The tactical action officer leans forward, his eyes locked intensely on the glowing display. The atmosphere in the room shifts instantly from routine night watch to pure combat alertness. Surface-to-air track bearing 038, fast mover, low altitude. Comes a call. A second contact flashes on screen. Then a third. The silence shatters. Clipped voices fill the space. Fingers fly across keyboards. Headset chatter explodes with urgency. That familiar low mechanical hum of a powerful warship smoothly transitions from comm patrol mode into full combat readiness without wasting a single second. On the main tactical display, 3 bright tracks are already stretching out from the Iranian coast, screaming cold and fast over the dark waters of the Arabian Sea, heading directly toward the heart of a U.S. carrier strike group. Nobody in the CIC needs an explanation for what that flight profile means. These are anti-ship missiles. The officer at the console still yells out loud, possible coastal launch, multiple inbound, time outer screen, under 4 minutes. Up on the bridge, the sea still appears deceptively calm. The first light of dawn is just beginning to lift over the horizon, turning the water into a flat, steel blue mirror, perfect conditions for hiding incoming death. Across the entire formation, alarms are spreading faster than the rising sun. On the massive aircraft carrier at the center, flight crews freeze mid-task and instinctively look toward the island's superstructure. On the port side cruiser, advanced spy radar is already painting the incoming tracks and feeding real-time data into the shared network. On the destroyer position closest to the threat axis, the captain steps calmly to the center line, staring through the bridge glass that reflects only glowing instruments and raw, focused attention. He doesn't shout. His voice stays controlled and steady. Set condition 3 throughout the screen. Weapons tight pending final confirmation. The order pulses through the ship like electric current. Below deck, sailors quickly strap into their stations. Heavy hatches slam shut with loud metallic bangs. Consoles wake up fully, screens brightening with critical data. Out on the weathered decks, weapon mounts rotate with precise, purposeful movement. No motion is wasted. Every sailor knows their role in this moment. The aircraft carrier at the center of the formation holds her course steadily. There are no panic turns, no dramatic maneuvers, just pure discipline, calculated speed, and perfect spacing. Total trust in a kill chain that has been trained and refined for decades. Back inside the CIC, the data becomes sharper with every passing second. The tracks are confirmed low, sea-skimming and accelerating aggressively. An operator switches filters, double-checks the signature, then speaks with clear urgency in his voice. Confirmed, sir. These are not aircraft. These are missiles. A tense beat passes. The tactical action officer answers with ice-cold professional calm. Report to the group immediately. Multiple anti-ship missiles inbound from the Iranian coast. On the secure network, the warning flashes out instantly. Every ship in the carrier strike group receives the same message at the exact same moment. The U.S. Navy formation is no longer monitoring a possible threat. It is now under direct ambush. At 5:18, bridge-to-bridge radio warnings blast across open channels. Iranian coastal station. This is a United States Navy formation operating lawfully in international waters. You are engaging United States naval vessels. Cease fire immediately. No response. A second, much firmer transmission follows. Then a third. Only cold static answers back. The silence confirms everything. Someone on that shoreline has already made the fatal decision to launch. At 5:19, the fleet begins its deadly ballet. Outer destroyers drift wider, angling their hulls to create perfect intercept geometry. The cruiser pivots slightly to cover additional attack paths. Up on the carrier's island, air defense officers study the tactical plot, while deck crews rush to secure loose gear and clear the exposed flight deck. No shouting. This is a dance they have rehearsed hundreds of times. Sailors who trained for this exact scenario are now facing the real thing, and reality is quieter, colder, and far more intense than any drill. Inside the lead destroyer's combat information center, one inbound track suddenly splits into two. Then another does the same. "Stand by," the operator mutters, his voice tightening noticeably. More returns coming in. Total count is 5. Make that 6. 6 Iranian missiles. That number hits the room like a hammer. 3 would have been a serious threat. 6 is a deliberate, calculated saturation ambush designed to overwhelm the defenses. The Aegis operator works furiously, prioritizing targets as range numbers drop rapidly. The tactical action officer issues commands with machine-like precision. Engage outer raid. Assign shooters. Priority on tracks 1 through 4. Hold the closed layer for any leakers. The response across the strike group is instant and coordinated. Data from destroyer's cruiser and the carrier's own sensors merge into one crystal-clear shared picture. From the forward edge of formation, the first command rings out. Fire. Vertical launch system cells erupt deep inside the hull. American interceptor missiles blast out one after another into the dawn sky. From far away, it might look almost graceful. Inside the CIC, every sailor's eyes are glued to the screens. Symbols merge, flare brightly, and then vanish. Splash 1. Splash 2. 2 missiles destroyed. 4 still screaming toward the carrier. On the massive aircraft carrier's flight deck, yellow shirts, red shirts, handlers, and ordnance crews move with urgent practice speed, chaining down jets, clearing the edges, positioning fire teams at critical points. Everyone knows that even one leaker breaking through could turn this morning into a disaster. The Iranian missile raid begins to split cleverly, using sea clutter and extremely low altitude to confuse the defense. The cruiser engages with its own interceptors. More American missiles climb into the sky. Splash 3, but one missile refuses to. Die. It keeps coming, slipping through the outer screen. At 5:20, the outer defensive layer has done its job, but not perfectly. 2 leakers are still inbound. One of them is now diving straight toward the U.S.Aircraft carrier. The tactical action officer shifts gears instantly. Reassign tracks. Hold long shots on leaker 2. Prepare the close layer. I repeat, prepare the close layer. The entire mood across the fleet changes in that moment. Long-range intercepts feel clinical and distant. Close-in defense is raw, personal, and terrifying. On the starboard destroyer guarding the carrier, the ship angles slightly, deliberately placing herself as a steel shield between the incoming missile and the carrier. Range drops fast. 9 miles, 6 miles, 4 miles. The first close-in interceptor fires. It misses. Tension in the CIC becomes almost unbearable. Range 3 miles. The phalanx CIWS spins up with a rising mechanical scream. The gun opens fire. A terrifyingly dense stream of tungsten rounds tears across the water. The Iranian missile finally flashes into visual range, skimming just above the waves. Then the rounds find their mark. The sea erupts violently. Burning debris scatters in all directions. The symbol disappears from every screen. Splash. Confirm splash. The explosion is so close that the destroyer's bridge windows shudder. On the carrier, sailors flinch as a sharp orange glare reflects across the water. The margin between life and disaster was razor thin, but the shield held. Then new reports flood in. Thermal spikes detected along the Iranian coast. Another launch cycle is preparing. The tactical action officer says it quietly but firmly. They're not done yet. At 5:21, the battle shifts dramatically from pure defense to full counterstrike. The carrier strike group stops merely absorbing the ambush and starts hunting. The admiral's order is calm, cold, and final. Turn the tide of battle. On the carrier's flight deck, the mood flips completely. Jets that were being secured moments ago are now being rapidly armed and prepared for launch. Electronic warfare aircraft lead the way. The mission is no longer just survival. It is precise retaliation. At 5:28, the first American strike fighters roar off the deck, noses pointed east toward the Iranian coast, staying low before climbing into the brightening sky. While the strike package flies, the escort ships continue their vigilant defense, feeding fresh targeting data. At 5:31, the pilots reach the target area. The radar site that coordinated the original ambush suddenly spikes, flickers wildly, and vanishes from the screens. Launch trucks and support vehicles are hit seconds later. Multiple secondary explosions bloom across the sensors. Main target suppressed. No new launches detected. By 5:40, the Arabian Sea around the carrier strike group appears calm once again. The horizon is flat gray. The formation maintains perfect station. The aircraft carrier continues pushing forward, flight operations resuming as if the ambush had never occurred. But everything has changed. 6 Iranian missiles try to ambush a U.S. aircraft carrier in the Arabian Sea. What happened next was a masterclass in naval power. Detect, absorb, defend with precision, then strike back with overwhelming force and professionalism. The escorts remain on high alert. Damage control teams complete their checks. No ships were lost. No mission was interrupted for long. The carrier never lost control of her flight deck. The formation never broke. This is what separates the United States Navy from others. Not just superior technology, but unmatched discipline, training, and calm execution under fire. In the split seconds that define modern naval warfare, this carrier strike group performed exactly as it was designed to do. At 5:42, the final assessment settles across the entire group. One extremely close call. Multiple successful intercepts. One Iranian coastal battery completely neutralized. No follow-up salvo. The carrier continues her mission. Her escort stays sharp. The coastline that launched the ambush now remains silent, fully aware of what happens when you fire first on the United States Navy in the Arabian Sea.